Hello, good evening. It's News 360 coming to you at this time. My name is Portia Gabo.
And I am Martin Asiedu Date. Let's look at the headlines for the next 1 hour.
360 Headlines is brought to you by Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal.
EcoBank.
The Interior Minister reveals suspected official collusion in methamphetamine shipment as he promises stronger security checks.
And also coming up tonight, Council of State advises Parliament to stop consideration and passage of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana Amendment Bill.
And later in the bulletin, Ghana's World Cup disappointment leaves jersey sellers with unsold stock as fans rethink wearing national colors after elimination.
In business news, Ghana Revenue Authority affirms confiscated 18 smuggled trucks, reallocating 39,256 jerry cans of cooking oil to National School Feeding Program.
On the foreign front, Senegal's President Diomaye Faye is planning to set up his own political party. It is a packed bulletin. We have business and sport at the tail end, and for the football lovers, Lionel Messi nearly got knocked out of the World Cup. But yeah, I'm sure it was a lot of fun. Let's settle for the details now.
And the Minister of the Interior, Muntaka Mohamed Mubarak, says preliminary investigations into the methamphetamine shipment intercepted in Australia have implicated some government officials suspected of aiding the concealment and movement of the illicit drugs. Speaking before Parliament's Committee on Assurances, he revealed that the findings suggest possible internal collusion, with some officials allegedly manipulating security systems at Ghana's entry and exit points.
For example, in Tema, we have what we call the weapon detection system. It's a hand one that was delivered to us by the German government. But because it's a hand one, using it is more difficult because it uses the human discretion a lot. Our men are on the ground, like this Australian thing that you mentioned in passing. The Director General will tell you, even as of yesterday, we were still interrogating a lot of government officials. You have been Minister for Defense and you know the importance of evidence. It's not everything that I can put out at this stage because we are still investigating and we are still interrogating people. Because there's a lot that are not adding up. You could see that there's some involvement of some people within the system. And we are working at it to try to reach out to as many people as possible that we think might have played one role or the other. Because even if you put all these gadgets, remember that it is going to be operated by human beings. So if the wrong persons are sitting there, you can bring all the gadgets in this world. It will still not be safe. So we have changed our modus operandi, the way we operate, the way we place personnel. I'm sure as former defense, you might have even heard sometime back people complaining about the way, the rotation and all those things. All of it is to make sure that we secure our borders. And Mr. Chair, even though you've also been the defense minister before, I want to say that one of the biggest challenges that we have, in my view, is that, like your assertion, can you just focus on Kotoka and Takoradi and Tema? We have 48 legitimate crossing points into our country. 48.
During my time, there were quite a couple of people who had HIV. We called them, counseled them, and told them. It's important you do that. Because trust me, if he's a boy, he may have a girlfriend. And if he's a girl, he may have a boyfriend. And if they are not aware, trust me, the next time this figure will jump to 10,000 or 20,000. So you have to find a way of ensuring them so that they can treat themselves, because getting AIDS, HIV is not the same as getting AIDS.
Let's now speak to Richard Kumado. He is a fraud and security analyst. Richard, thank you so much for your time. First of all, what does the alleged involvement of an official in this shipment reveal about the possible weaknesses in Ghana's security and monitoring systems?
There are about 4 things involved. It's a simple knowledge that Ghana has become a transit point, a point of destination and an origin of drug and drug-related issues. What is also important is that persons involved in the drug business and many of the other criminal businesses which are cross-border or transnational, they will want to bribe officers at the point of entry and sometimes persons above them who they think may pave a way for them. And it's a normal standard all over the world. What is also important is that somewhere around November to February, when we did our checks around points of entry, Kotoka in particular, and Temahabo, there has been some level of improvement, and there has been some level of issues for security management to take care of, which is part of the operations they do. But the other aspect of this large shipment and why it comes into the public space is that from security intelligence operational point of view, if they look at the person involved in the drug business and their destinations and the collaborations they have with their officers abroad, they might let you go and they might give a tip-off for you to be arrested there, knowing that if you are picked up here or the trade is prevented here, it creates all manner of banter for them. To the general public, the correct answer would have been that the officers were bribed and they were vulnerable. But the truth of the matter is that security officers, from security intelligence point of view, might be aware and they might just aid the transit until that particular country where they think you are being wanted and you might have engaged in some of these drug activities there. I would have loved the minister to not to say it the way he said it, particularly when persons have not been arrested and persons have not been apprehended and they might still be within the system. Saying it the way he said it, create some level of issues for operational officers within the front line, particularly the platform and the position being portrayed that officers within the system has been bought. Sometimes they buy people above them, which are predominantly politicians who have an overriding authority of some of these officers at the point of entry, and that creates the power for the drug officers to go through.
All right. Now, Richard, what measures should authorities implement going forward to prevent insider collusion?
No, if you remember again, the head of NACOP is saying that informants within the drug industry are demanding so much money before they provide intelligence. Intelligence-led operations have really helped, and many of the arrests being made at Kotoka in particularly and at Temahabo in that regard has been based on intelligence. And many of these confiscations, search and seizure that were successfully done at Kotoka were done because the right officers were put in the right places and intelligence was made available to them. As a nation, intelligence is the best tool when you want to crack a crime. Then our inability to stop infiltrating when it comes to crime prosecution is another thing they need to look at. Providing the appropriate equipment is the other one. But above all, these are law enforcement strategies which may look vulnerable to the ordinary person. But I want to believe that the security managers of NACOP, the BNI, the police, the military, and the related ones know exactly what they are doing. And if there are issues of vulnerabilities within their space, it will be important for them to address it as quickly as possible.
All right. Richard, thank you so much for your time. And Richard Kumado is a fraud and security analyst.
We shift our attention to some other stories now. The Council of State has advised Parliament to stop the consideration and passage of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana Amendment Bill, raising constitutional questions about the proposed changes in the legislation. The law is seeking to remove the current constitutional restrictions imposed on dual citizens, which prevents them from holding public office or public positions in the country.
I received the advisory opinion of the Council of State on the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana Amendment Bill 2025. The bill seeks to amend provisions of the Constitution relating to citizenship-based qualifications from public office. The bill was referred to the Council of State on 30th March 2026 in accordance with Article 291, Clause 2 of the Constitution for consideration and advice. The Council has duly rendered its advice, and in doing so, has advised against the passage of the bill by Parliament. After the first reading of the bill, in compliance with the Constitution, I referred it to the Council of State for consideration and advice. Honorable members, as earlier stated, I have received the advisory opinion on the bill from the Council of State. And I told you, this Council advised against the passage of the bill, which meant that they differed from the earlier advice of the Council of State of the 8th Parliament, which had given Parliament the go-ahead to process and pass the bill. Honorable members, while the advice of the Council of State does not determine the legislative judgment of Parliament, it constitutes an important constitutional contribution to the deliberative process contemplated by the framers of the Constitution.
The Attorney General has laid before Parliament the Tribunals Bill 2026, seeking to revive public tribunals and fast-track corruption, economic crimes and environmental offence cases. The proposed tribunals face scrutiny over their structure, history and ability to improve public confidence in Ghana's justice system. Elizabeth Enyunam-Haliga has more.
The laying of the Tribunal Bill 2026 in Parliament on July 6 is almost 2 years of extensive work and consultation by the Attorney General to see the revival of perhaps one of the most controversial campaign promises yet. The proposal by the NDC during the 2024 election campaign was that public tribunals would breathe life into dormant constitutional provisions and fast-track the prosecution of corruption and economic crimes. The new bill graciously takes cognizance of the horrid past, hoping of establishing a court system that helps build confidence and trust in the current status quo. The bill proposes the establishment of 2 sets of tribunals. A regional tribunal would currently exist in Article 126 of 1992 Constitution and a district tribunal. For the Member of Parliament for Minsha South and a member of the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, Nana Eje Bafwewa, creating dedicated courts or tribunals for a particular category of cases could amount to an inefficient use of state-limited judicial resources.
I find it so sad that as a country, we want to waste resources like that. You already have a court system. And indeed, in the last 8 years, our court has seen significant expansion across the length and breadth of the country under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia's government. We had 120 new courts being built all over the country. And so it is not the absence of court infrastructure, right? And therefore, if it is the case that you want specialized courts to deal with specialized situations like mining, then the Chief Justice has been given the power under the Constitution to create divisions of the High Court.
What one notices in the proposed bill is a focus on precedents in respect of an offence under the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, that's Act 703. A further read shows it could become a bill that establishes court to deal with the unending battle of illegal mining and environmental crimes in general.
For a long time, civil society has been talking about how the judicial system is not prioritizing cases in relation to environment and particularly in relation to illegal mining. So to see that this has begun and with the government and the AG pushing the bill to Parliament is very important. And like you said, I mean, I see this, looking at the bill as it is now, as more of a procedural enhancement of all the existing laws.
Away from the legal argument, some members of the public say what matters most is a justice system that resolves cases quickly without compromising fairness.
It's a good decision and a good plan that the government, the state, should organize a Galamsey tribunal court, specific Galamsey issues alone, so they can deal with them directly.
The laying of the tribunals bill is only the beginning of the legislative process. It will now be referred to Parliament's Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee for detailed scrutiny, where legal experts, civil society organizations and members of the public are expected to present their views. Whether the proposal survives the process could determine if tribunals once again become part of Ghana's justice system. Enyunam Haliga, TVT News, Accra.
In more news this evening, Cabinet is scheduled to meet on Friday to finalize the government's position paper on the constitutional review. President Mahama has announced that once Cabinet concludes its work, the Legal Counsel and the Attorney General will take approximately 1 to 2 weeks to consolidate the document. The President made the remarks at the send-off for 3 foreign envoys at the Jubilee House.
We've gone quite far. Cabinet is meeting on Friday to complete the government position paper. After that, I think the Legal Counsel and the Attorney General will take about a week or 2 to put it all together. And after that is done, we'll, together with the Constitutional Review Committee report and the government position paper, we'll hand it over to the Constitutional Review Implementation Committee to kickstart the process of the constitutional review. The 1992 Constitution has served us very well. It's been one of our best constitutions, and that is what has, been the underpinnings of the Fourth Republic. And the Fourth Republic has lasted longer than any other republic in our history. And so we believe that any tweaking of the Constitution will only go to strengthen it even more and make it a living document to take us for the next 30 years. And so we appreciate the support that you have given.
In more news tonight, Ghana's reported decision to decline a planned state visit by South African President Cyril Ramaphosa is drawing mixed reactions from international relations experts. While some say the move sends a strong message over the safety of Ghanaians in South Africa, others warn that it could carry diplomatic and investment consequences if not managed carefully. Noble Crosby Annan has more.
Ghana has reportedly declined a planned state visit by South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, citing growing concerns over xenophobic attacks in South Africa and the safety of Ghanaian nationals. President Ramaphosa was expected to visit Ghana in the first week of August in a trip aimed at strengthening bilateral relations between Accra and Pretoria. But government sources say the current security climate makes such a high-level engagement premature, especially as Ghana continues to raise concerns about the treatment of its citizens in South Africa. The decision follows the death of 40-year-old Bashiru Isaac, a Ghanaian national. Ghanaian authorities say he was killed on June 30 during demonstrations linked to renewed anti-foreigner violence in South Africa. The development has deepened concerns among Ghanaians living in South Africa. Already, close to 1,000 Ghanaians have been evacuated back to Ghana, while about 900 more have reportedly registered to return home as fears of xenophobic attacks grow. South African authorities have, however, pushed back against Ghana's account of events. They say no deaths were recorded during the June 30 demonstrations and have described Ghana's claim as factually incorrect. South African officials are also accusing Ghanaian authorities of spreading false information that unfairly presents South Africa as xenophobic. The development has opened a new debate over whether Ghana's action is a strong diplomatic signal or a move that could strain relations between the two countries. International relations analyst Dr. Elvis Botta says Ghana's position may not be diplomatically wrong.
It is not diplomatically wrong. In fact, it is one of the most persuasive diplomatic positions Ghana can take without necessarily creating tensions in its diplomatic or foreign relations with South Africa. The implications are that there is a very strong economic relations between Ghana and South Africa, ranging from bilateral, international treaties or bilateral investment treaties, etc. Now, this is where we have to be very careful.
For international relations expert Dr. Yao Gebe, Ghana's response is appropriate under the current circumstances.
The government of Ghana has reacted positively to this particular development. In the middle of all that is happening, the killing of Ghanaians, all that tax, for the president of South Africa to decide that he pays a state visit to Ghana, I find it rather unfortunate, meaning that they are not taking the issue seriously.
Dr. Botta adds Ghana must now demand more from the South African authorities.
1, credible assurances to the Ghanaian government. Number 2, investigate a killing. Assurances in respect of protection of Ghanaian businesses and Ghanaian personnel who are still in South Africa. And of course, that will also offer remedies where state failure has been established.
The excitement around a major football tournament often sparks a rush for national team jerseys as fans proudly wear the colors of the Black Stars. But especially after an early exit, many of those jerseys disappear from public view. So what becomes of them? Grace Hamwajiman has been finding out.
Every major football tournament brings with it a wave of national pride. While Ghana stayed in the 2026 World Cup, the red, gold and green became more than just colors. They became a symbol of hope. And for many Ghanaians, owning a Black Stars jersey was part of the experience.
When the World Cup also started, I decided to wear it to show my support to the players and the country.
I buy Ghana jersey, I think 200 cedi. Yeah, I bought it to support the Black Stars, but unfortunately, they are out of the World Cup.
But when the final whistle went off on Ghana's World Cup campaign, after the 1-0 defeat to Colombia, something changed. Supporters say the jersey means different things. While some continue wearing it with pride, others tuck it away, unable to relive the disappointment of another campaign cut short.
I got the jersey 120 cedis, and I think I've still not gotten the intrinsic value of my money that I used to buy the jersey. So I can't just dump the jersey just all because Ghana is out of the game. I have to at least enjoy my money.
I think I bought it 150 cedis, cheap for the original one. Yeah. So I bought it 150. And it wasn't for the Ghana match, honestly. We had a performance, we needed the Ghana jersey to use as the costume. So I bought it for that reason. But since Ghana was also playing, I was like, okay, it's fine. But Charlie, I'll go wear my thing like that. How you go do it?
I imported some for sale, but I'll have to dash them out to my family.
Osafo has been in the jersey business for decades. He tells me tournament periods are among the busiest times of the year, but demand is closely tied to results.
When Ghana was doing well, the jerseys were scarce. We had to work extra hours.
Now, so that day, you pump 10 o'clock.
Like many other retailers, he now has to deal with sacks of unsold Ghana jerseys.
We will keep
the stock and keep selling, hopefully for Ghana at 70.
He's now running reduction sales to avert any major losses.
Yes, starting the year 22 million, but your share first go no.
You're 22.5. A man for crane, you be on the pay chance and I had a yamun biamomato.
This was sold at 250 cedis, but it's now 200 cedis. The white one was increased from 120 to 150 cedis, but now it's 50 cedis.
A football jersey may simply be fabric stitched together in national colors, but for many, it carries memories, emotions, and unwavering loyalty.
Ghana is out of the tournament, and for these businesses, it is also a sign of financial uncertainty. Well, they said they are looking forward to Ghana at 70, and for those of us who have the yellow, who have the white, and maybe the other colors, we are also going to wear it. It is not too late for you to come grab your jersey, just like this man is doing. Grace Hamwajiman, TV3 News, Circle.
Hopefully sales will boom soon for the AFCON qualifiers.
Yes,
let's
soon.
hope so.
But I mean, jerseys they are eternal shirts. You can wear them so far as it's not torn, faded or anything. You have full support any day, anytime. So yeah, Ghana 70 is coming, but we still need to wear it, whether you have it or not.
Let's now go to the labor front, where a group of Volta Aluminium Company, VALCO workers, have called on government and management to consider bringing in a strategic investor. They claim this will ensure full utilization of VALCO's potential and boost economic growth.
3 months ago, a group of concerned workers claimed that VALCO was in dire need of support. They requested government and the management to consider the work of the strategic investor. Currently, according to the concerned workers, its sources indicate that government has approved a strategic investor. They have since lauded the president for this initiative. Meanwhile, the concerned workers have asked their members to remain calm, as no worker will be laid off.
We heard that somewhere last 2 weeks. We are just waiting for it to be communicated publicly. We don't know whether that is how they do it, but we want everybody to know that this is what Cabinet has done for VALCO, and we are waiting for the other processes to also go on.
The other aspect is also the job security. Yes, because there's a rumor that when they come, they will sack people. We do not believe that, because when it comes and they sack the people, who are they going to work with? Because this is a unique industry that requires a unique craft meant to do. So that is not true.
Knowing that all our expectations are going to be met, I think it calls for a renewed energy towards the work, and that is going to help VALCO to either return or come back better than the VALCO that we all used to know.
Well, so we are still reeling from the aftermath of the flood, so we just want to update you in terms of what to expect regarding the weather. It's going to be mostly cloudy conditions are expected, and this will prevail across most parts of the country this evening. However, a few places, including Sunyani, Sampa, Sefwibekwai, Ketekrachi, and Takwa, are likely to experience thunderstorms and rain. Overnight, conditions will remain mostly cloudy with a slight chance of rain along parts of the eastern coast. By morning on Wednesday, mist or fog patches are expected over the coast, forest and hilly areas, while the northern sector remains generally or partly to mostly cloudy. The forecast figures coming up shortly.
Weather News segment is brought to you by Syntex Tank.
It's ended.
I love President Chaco.
Why? When there are so many other charcoal toothpaste.
That's both charcoal and lemon.
Oh, does it?
Yes, look right here.
Yes. Pepsodent charcoal
Good evening. Welcome to Business on News 360. I'm Menu Afol. Ghana Revenue Authority has officially affirmed confiscation of entire 18-truck consignment originally falsely declared as transit cargo. Now, this follows investigations into an attempted transit diversion scheme uncovered in February 2026. Commissioner General Anthony Kwesi Sarpong confirmed the seized 39,256 jerry cans of cooking oil have been legally relocated to support the National School Feeding Program.
A name in there, but no individual person has actually come forward to say, this is my consignment. So at the moment, we have to close the investigation and move on. Based on the findings, the items will be confiscated to the state. Under the direction of the Ministry of Finance, GRA is allocating the consignment to the National School Feeding Program in support of national cause.
The joint crackdown by National Security and Customs Preventive Officers began when the trucks were intercepted along the Kpung barrier toward the motorway on suspicion of local market diversion. A subsequent cross-border investigation exposed a highly coordinated fraud network. Despite border paperwork claiming the cargo was heading to Niger, authentic Togolese customs documents revealed the goods, which originated in Malaysia and Indonesia, were actually bound for Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire.
Our re-examination found out about 39,256 jerrycans of vegetable cooking oil, as against 35,246 declared to customs at the Ghana side, clearly showing under declaration of 4,010 units of jerrycans. We are conducting further investigations into the activities of the agent to ensure that any areas the agent is also found culpable will also be dealt with or sanctioned in accordance with law.
In a firm push for internal accountability, the Commissioner General confirmed that 4 GRE officers who initially processed the illicit consignment have been interdicted.
They are undergoing our internal disciplinary processes to ensure that all officers who are involved in the processing of the transaction and who are found culpable not to have followed due process will be dealt with in accordance with the internal processes and with law.
The GRE maintains that enforcement has been aggressively scaled up at all entry points to eradicate cross-border financial crimes and protect state revenue.
Now it's time to rethink how we measure what we sell and eat. A survey by the Ghana Statistical Service reveals that traditional non-standard measurement units like the olonka, cups, bottles and buckets remain deeply embedded in our food markets and homes. However, these informal units are causing massive inconsistencies in food pricing and national data because their actual weights vary drastically from region to region.
To resolve this, the Statistical Service has developed a national framework with conversion factors to translate these traditional measures into standard kilograms and grams. At the launch of the non-standard unit survey in partnership with the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, government statistician Dr. Al-Hassan Idrisu explained how this data will transform economic planning.
They deliver accuracy. They are less biased. They remove inconsistencies that quietly distort our estimates. By standardizing the quantities behind food prices, they sharpen our inflation and food price figures. Nationally, 1 olonka converts to 2.55 kilograms, and a tomato paste tin to 1.13 kilogram, though these vary significantly from region to region. Now, contrast that with palm oil we sell in water bottles. Its factors are remarkably consistent across every region, with a large bottle averaging 1.37 kilograms.
While container-based liquids like palm oil show higher consistency, solid food items remain highly volatile due to differing container sizes and farm gate filling practices. To tackle the issue, the GSS has outlined key policy recommendations, including institutionalizing these conversion factors into national accounts.
Build a digital repository, a national database of conversion factors, a curated photo library, and a public reference system kept to date. Harmonize and update. We need to promote standard measurements, reduce regional gaps, and review the units periodically as practices, container sizes, and prices change. The lesson is very, very clear here. Liquids in bottles behave. Solid foods and heaps do not.
The Ghana Statistical Service emphasizes that this framework is a crucial step toward harmonizing food measurements nationwide and ensuring trust in the country's agricultural economy.
We'll end the segment here with updates from the forex and commodities markets. I am Minu Afo.
With Gino at Chedia Soko. Buy any promo pack of Gino tomato mix, Gino pepper and onion, or Gino jollof tomato mix. Cut open the sachet to find the code inside and text it free to *844*99#. There's over 2.5 million Ghana cedis in airtime to be won, plus amazing appliances like freezers, TVs, gas cookers, and more. And the grand rewards: a brand new car and an all expenses.
Hello again. Let's now continue with the rest of our stories. As tensions between farmers and herders intensify over land and water resources, fears are growing that violence could escalate further. A high-level stakeholder dialogue in Damongo is seeking practical measures to end the clashes and restore peaceful coexistence.
Farmers and cattle herders have continued to threaten lives, livelihoods and food production across parts of northern Ghana. Disputes over grazing lands, water sources and transhumance routes have repeatedly escalated into violent confrontations, leaving communities divided and raising security concerns. To find lasting solutions, key stakeholders from the Upper West, Upper East and Savannah regions met in Damongo for a high-level dialogue. The engagement, organized by Pro Mediation, in collaboration with the Ghana National Association of Cattle Farmers, brought together representatives from the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, security agencies, traditional authorities, MMDAs, farmer groups, herders, and civil society organizations. Participants examined the root causes of the conflict and explored practical ways to prevent disputes from escalating into violence. Speaking at the dialogue, the Director of Animal Production at the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Jonas Asari, described the recurring clashes as a major threat to both agriculture and national security. He stressed the need for a clear policy framework to regulate the activities of farmers and herders and strengthen peaceful coexistence.
Livestock, Trese baby aya make se fa nantwe fa ya ka se bo mo fa nantwe nante anajo because anajo no so na by accident no mako pio bi afom na say kwan so kwan number fa so na ya the market no ya wo nsuo wo so wo baby ombe home ya wo veterinary for where be hwe omo e kwan no so enti good say betie enkomode na ya na say futu ede ma no madi emra na ya hihye no.
President of the Ghana National Association of Cattle Farmers, Imam Hanafi Sunday, advocated for the creation of a comprehensive database for cattle owners and herders to improve monitoring, accountability and regulation within the livestock sector.
Because yaka say ekuayo any anenjine ni ayede e ade baako because ni nyina eboanyen but ni ayewo mu so problems ewo mu no amanihu ewo mu no so no eno so yade a esese den ye hwe na ye tumi to anamon na ye si eno ho kwan ye tumi protect eno na ye dane papa no kwan den e dane papa no kwan edi.
Participants at the dialogue outlined a 4-point action plan focused on strengthening policies governing farmer-herder relations, improving early warning and conflict prevention systems, enhancing mediation and dispute resolution mechanisms, and building trust among farmers, herders, and local communities.
It's now time for sports news.
The sports news segment is brought to you by Sasso Insecticide Spray and Quad.
Let's do some sports here on News 360. My name is Mutala Yakob. Former Ghana extending the contract of Black Stars head coach and insisting that the coach still has a great deal to offer Ghanaian football. Speaking to 3 Sports on the future of the national team, Knedu argued that it would be unfair to judge the coach solely based on one disappointing result.
Left to you, does he stay or does he go?
No, me, if I have my way, I'll tell the administration to keep him, because before we lost our last game, what was our impression about the head coach? Everybody wanted him
very positive.
Yes, so what has changed? So me, I think if he's staying, that will be good for our football, and there's a lot he can give to the Black Stars, you know. So I believe management will talk to him and, you know, ask him to stay on, if only he wants to stay. But unfortunately, sometimes most of these expatriates come here and, you know, make a name because they know the talent is here. If they are able to put certain things together, just a little bit, they will get the results and get the fame that they want. Not that he is not famous, but to do well with a team that didn't have any hope going into the World Cup. What he has done, people have, you know, really liked the way he carried the team, the system he deployed, and how it worked out all together. So I think he has done well. So we should think about it, and, you know, if we can extend his contracts for him, that will be fine, and that will be good for the Black Stars.
Former Black Stars assistant coach Maxwell Kunedo on the situation of Carlos Queiroz. Let's now do the World Cup, where Argentina showed a real character as they mounted a spirited comeback to beat Egypt 3-2 in the 2026 FIFA World Cup round of 16 in Atlanta. The win keeps Argentina's title firmly on track, with a three-time champion advancing to the between Switzerland and Colombia. That's all by way of sports here on News 360. My name is Mutala Yakubu.
Well, good evening and welcome to the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Nuella Donko. Now, Ghanaian dancehall star Stonebwoy has reaffirmed his deep respect and gratitude for veteran musician Samini, insisting that nothing can ever make him hate the artist who played a pivotal role in shaping his music career. Reflecting on his long-standing relationship with Samini, the BIM Nation president described the award-winning musician as more than just a mentor. According to him, their bond goes beyond music and is rooted in genuine brotherhood. Nothing can ever make me hate him. Whether it's good or bad, I can never be ungrateful to Samini, Stonebwoy said, stressing that gratitude remains one of the principles he lives by. The Afro dancehall star recalled that after completing senior high school, Samini welcomed him into his circle, nurtured his talent, and treated him like a younger brother. Stonebwoy said that experience is the reason he has always referred to the high-grade family boss as his big brother rather than simply a mentor. And on to some more stories. A British pop star Harry Styles has officially entered the record books after receiving a Guinness World Record for the longest residency by a musician at Wembley Stadium during a single run. The 32-year-old singer earned the prestigious recognition after completing an unprecedented 12 sold-out concert at the iconic London venue between June 12 and July 4 as part of his Together Together World Tour. The achievement surpasses the previous record of 10 Wembley shows set by Coldplay in 2025, while also eclipsing the 8-night run by Taylor Swift during her Eras Tour in 2024. Representatives from the Guinness World Records presented Styles and his touring team with official certificates on stage following the final concert, recognizing not only the singer's accomplishment, but also the contribution of the crew behind the record-breaking run. Guinness World Record adjudicator Will Munford described the feat as an extraordinary milestone. And that'll be it for the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko.
On the international front, Senegal's president is planning to set up his own political party. A coalition supporting him said is the latest evidence of a durable split with his recently ousted prime minister. Faye has instructed senior advisor Aminata Toure to establish a task force charged with creating the party, said a statement from the pro-Faye coalition issued late on Friday. Faye has until now been a member of the ruling PASTEF party led by Ousmane Sonko, who was prime minister until he was ousted in May, capping months of tension between the two leaders.
And elsewhere, Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa has signed into law a legislation that extends his term in office by 2 more years, so he'll be leaving office in 2030. Both houses of the Southern African Nations Parliament approved the bill last month. The bill includes a provision for the president to be elected by Parliament rather than by direct popular vote. Signs that Mnangagwa, 83 years old, wanted to remain in power beyond the end of his second term in 2028 first emerged about 2 years ago when his supporters began chanting slogans at ZANU-PF rallies calling for more time for him to complete his agenda. The ruling ZANU-PF party last year adopted a resolution to amend the constitution and extend presidential terms, a proposal that received cabinet backing in February.
That's it for News 360. Thank you so much for staying with us for an hour. I am Portia Gabo.
And I am Martin Asiedu Date. At 9 p.m., Beatrice Edu will come your way with Agenda. And at 10 p.m., they'll be Ghana Tonight with Alfredo Kanse. My name is Martin Asiedu Date. Bye for now.